Today, the concept of just a company being headquartered has become very irrelevant. It is a question of, irrespective where the headquarters is, where the genesis of the company is, it's the global ambitions of the enterprise which is become more important. And building capabilities, irrespective if it's in India, Hong Kong, China, US or Europe, it really doesn't matter. In today's digital age, access to information, access to understanding of different markets has become much easier, and hence you can build out capabilities to address the business requirements of a global workplace in any one of these locations. Most companies which have claimed to be truly global have become very transnational in its outlook. That's the only way it can truly embrace being global. There are historically, if you look at Japanese companies who really invested, global giants, whether automotive or electronics, they really invested globally, and they had local talent, local capabilities in the markets they expanded. And that's the only way it, in the long term, you can sustain. You can't be exporting everything from where the genesis of the companies are. And if you have to have a truly global ambition, then everything has to be global, not just your products. Products have to be relevant to the global market. Services you offer, the talent pool in the local markets you have to tap into, and you need to have investments in the markets which you have identified as a key. Because in many cases we have seen, particularly if you look at continent Europe, they are little averse to looking at global products if there is no local investment. So it's a delicate balance you need to strike in your aspirations to be global. How do you balance what local investments you to make and what global expertise you bring in? And companies who have done that, balanced and ensured that they are relevant, have succeeded. You need to do both. If you look at IT services, when India expanded, exponentially, and they not only hired local talent, they also exported talent who were adaptive to the local markets, and at the same time they innovated on the service line, which meant that the work does not have to be necessarily carried out in the markets. It can be distributed. What was true for the manufacturing setup 20-30 years ago, it became the distribution of the supply chain. Extremely distributed supply chain was the concept which came into IT services just in the last 15 years. And look at the revolution it has created. So hence, it's important that when you want to create a global organization and you want a global culture, you want to ensure that there is one common way of doing things. At the same time, you're relevant locally. It's very important. Of course, there's this age-old paradigm which comes from ABB's Percy-Barnum days of think global, act local. It's so very relevant even today. Today, I don't see big problems, but I definitely see challenges. When companies are expanding globally, at the same time, part of your early question, is politics sometimes coming in the way? In some markets, yes. There are tendencies to put barriers to entry, and in my view, that is not good for any country. When today consumers want the best, and they want it not only to consume the best, whether it's services or products, but they also want it at an affordable price. Now, when you want the consumers to be satisfied, they want to have choices, you can't put up erect artificial barriers. You want good trade flows. The trade flow has to be business, cash, capital, and labor. Then you're really creating a truly global world, and all these political barriers should not necessarily come in the way. Yeah, political barriers or political boundaries are required for a reason, but in today's world, as things become much more digital in nature, the political barriers actually reduces their significance. And as long as that is not deterring businesses, you will see encouraging competitiveness, encouraging innovation, and in other words, it will foster a better quality of living for everybody.